Last week, for the first time, I picked up a WWE game, and I'm not someone who's into watching wrestling, but I've been playing a lot of different sports games lately, and I thought, well, wrestling's one I haven't tried, let me give it a go. So I turned to look into what the best WWE game was, and it seemed like the consensus was, without going into some of the PlayStation 2 ones, which are very highly regarded, the WWE vs. SmackDown games, without getting that old, seemed like the best one was WWE 2K14, which was the final game released exclusively on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 generation, before they made the jump to the current generation, where you have games like WWE 2K20 that are not very good, to put it simply, and the reviews have indicated that. So what's wrong with sports games? Why does it always seem like the last year of sports games exclusively on a last generation console is its best year, one of its shining eras, and then once it makes the jump to next generation, these sports games end up being awful. I mean, they seem like they go backwards once they jump to the next generation, and we're going to see them jump to the next generation here relatively soon with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X coming out. See, I watched a video from Soft Drink TV last week that went over basically a shining example of this, Madden 2006, a game that was fantastic on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, but its Xbox 360 counterpart was absolutely awful because they basically had to start building the game from scratch. It seems like these sports games, in a lot of cases, build off of the foundation of the previous year's game, maybe add in some new features, and of course update the rosters, so they continue to build as time goes on. But when it came from transitioning from the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox to the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, they basically had to restart development all over again, and Madden 2006 on the Xbox 360 is just simply an awful game that didn't take advantage of what the Xbox 360 really had to offer, and we didn't start to see fantastic gameplay out of the Xbox 360 Maddens until, I would say, 6 games later with Madden 2012, and we really saw that football formula on that console perfected as far as EA goes with NCAA Football 14, which of course was the last NCAA football game. However, as they transition to the next generation of consoles, be it what should have been Madden 14 but turned out to be Madden 25, that was the first game I ever got on my Xbox One, and I can tell you I was thoroughly disappointed. It really didn't live up to the hype, and it didn't have any great features, and it just seemed like I shelled out all this money for an Xbox One so that I could play Dead Rising 3 and Madden 25, one game of which I could have got on my 360 anyways. That's why I won't be in any big rush to buy the Xbox Series X, considering how bad my experiences have been with owning a console early in its lifespan. It was interesting to see the WWE community support WWE 2K14 almost in the same way people see NCAA Football 14. It's kind of the last great game, the best of the best from the last generation, and it's something that it seems like the current generation consoles are continuing to work to match because they went so far backwards when they transitioned systems, and to me, that's really discouraging. I remember I used to see people playing like NHL 94 on the Sega Genesis. It was just all pixelated and flat, and they were playing this in like 2010. And I remember I didn't understand what could possibly be the appeal of playing a sports game that old when A, the rosters were outdated, and B, there were so many better sports games to play in the NHL franchise now that had HD graphics and all of this. But now, as I think I've grown up, I've came to realize that the older sports games aren't necessarily bad because they're old, and they aren't necessarily bad because the rosters are outdated even. My favorite era in sports gaming is 2005. There were so many great 2005 titles, from NFL 2K5 to all sorts of sports really under the EA umbrella had fantastic outings in 2005. I know AAA Baseball did, NASCAR did. Of course, that was one of the better versions of Madden. And even though those games are 15 years old now, I still find them to be better sporting experiences than the current releases. I wish that I would have a desire to play and own Madden 20, but I don't, because I feel like it's so similar to Madden 19, and I feel like the game is so hollow, and there's just so many plays you can cheese, and I just don't have any desire to play something like that that's so awful. I wish these games could keep on building, keep on getting better, but I understand that, with these yearly development cycles and with these new consoles every 7 or 8 years, they pretty much have to hit the reset button on development. And that's really discouraging from someone who likes playing sports games. So we'll see how things turn out on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. But I'm not holding my breath that there are games that are any better than NCAA Football 14, All-Pro Football 2K8, or even NFL 2K5 maybe. Because the amount of depth and customization that's there is just something that'll never be matched in an internet microtransaction era that we live in today. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Bailey, and I will see you in the next video.